It is 6:19 p.m. Tuesday. I need to go home. I have to go home. I want to go home. I'm just here because I had to take care of some stuff, and then I also had to send an email. But my student teacher started his observations today. He'll be here for a week just observing, helping out, and then officially will take over 2 of my class periods next week. One of them happens to be 6th period, so he observed that class today. Observed 7th, and then during 8th period I sent him to the teacher next door because she has a pre-AP chemistry section during 8th, and that's when I have my dual enrollment chemistry class. And so really the course is not beneficial to him learning. I'll talk more about what I did today tomorrow. However, I will say that I started class a little bit differently. So in terms of, I guess, warm-up or your due now, it was more personalized. So I told students to open up their tracking sheet, which I shared that last vlog, and any place where they had a check mark in the still needs practice for the learning target, they were instructed to either, they could play Kahoot, they could grab a worksheet, they could grab a puzzle, whatever I had to demonstrate their understanding, they could do. So several students, I think I had the rounding, students who wanted to play the Kahoot rounding I had up here. Scientific notation practice was on that side. Significant figure, which was the latest skill, was on this side. And we did that to start off class. And then after that, I broke students up into 2 groups from there. But I will talk more about that tomorrow because I want to go home. It's a little bit past 7:30. We had back to school night, and so I know I was going to talk about what we did yesterday, today, but because it's late, I want to go home, and so I will talk about that tomorrow. But back to school night was great. I had some students and their families come in, so I was able to meet them, and that was about it. So I am gonna shut this off and go home. It's Thursday after school. Back to school night was last night, so it feels like a long day, and I apologize. It's the crusted up blood right here, so I'm letting it scab, and it's not gonna look pretty, so bear with me. I mean, life of a vlogger. So yesterday was great because I got to meet parents of several of my students, and some of them I found out like my class was their favorite, and it's sometimes for some of those students it's hard to tell because they're just very quiet, or like they don't seem interested like when I come around to help, but then, you know, they're telling their family or friends that they actually enjoy my class, so that was nice. We didn't get out of here until like after 7:30, and yeah, so today just felt like a very long day. My students started dimensional analysis on Tuesday, Wednesday, single unit conversions, and then today I taught whole class versus just having them personalized in video to get ahead. I just did a whole class, so we did double unit conversions and complex unit conversions, so like centimeters cubed to meters cubed, and also gave them like another learning checkup on rounding and scientific notation. Some students that have been practicing on their own, or they're coming into class, I could tell because they were able to change a lot of the 50s or I still need practice in the grade book to 100, which means got it. Doesn't mean they have an A or a D or an F. It just means got it or I need practice. And then there are other students that I'm going to have to, at this point, like have really targeted interventions because they're not rounding appropriately. You know, when I say round to the nearest tenths place or tenths place position, they're doing all sorts of weird things. Sorry, I thought my battery was gonna die. It's funny because my student teacher had mentioned on his first day, he was like, you know, do some students just sit there and, you know, struggle and not like ask for help? And it was something to the effect of that. And I just said, you know, there's some students who suffer from anxiety, so just even asking for help. And, you know, it could be other things, learned helplessness, I don't know. Because even sometimes when I go over and I see and I ask them, well, how do you think you're doing? You know, do you need help? So then I'll get, you know, squat down and I'll say, okay, well, let's look at your work and, you know, talk me through it. So this is one of these things where sometimes those can be tough, especially when you have like 30 students and you have students that are very high energy and then students that are just very quiet, and you're trying to help all the students and touch base with every single one of them. So I'm gonna stop here because I wanna go home, and I will continue this tomorrow. It's Friday and I'm gonna get ready to go home. My student teacher takes over my 3rd period class Monday and 6th period on Tuesday. I'm excited to see how things go. He's gonna transition, so wrap up dimensional analysis, and so I was able to get through single, double, and complex unit. So he's gonna review half of class when he takes over, and then he is going to transition into a new topic, matter and change. So they're going to do a lab the second half, and also take a safety quiz at the very beginning. So we'll see how that goes. Today, my 8A classes that we did yesterday during B-Day, so they did like a warm-up rounding scientific notation again, and then some students were honest when I asked them, hey, you know, have you looked at your notes? No. So then I talked about ways that they can go about studying for class. And it's also nice because I've had some students, former students, come in here, and you know, they just start kind of like playing around at the board and talking about significant figures. And I did tell some of them, like, hey, if you need hours because they need to make up hours for attendance issues from previous years, they can come and, you know, tutor some of my students after school, and I would count that towards like community service hours. Or even if they just wanted community service hours in general, whether they needed to make up hours or not, they could come and help out. So I think that would be nice because it's, you know, a peer, someone a little bit older than them, and they might maybe relate a little bit better than I perhaps can. So any help that I can possibly get from former students is great, and I'm glad that I'm teaching the same thing that I taught last year, because I now have that, you know, bank to kind of pull from to help me this school year, whereas I didn't have that last year. So I'm gonna get ready to pack up my stuff and head home, so I hope you have a great weekend. Do me a favor, if there was anything about this video that you liked, then make sure to hit that like button, comment down below, and or share the video. If you haven't already done so, make sure to subscribe so that way you can bond with James. As always, thanks for watching.